Okay, one more puzzling lesson before we finish this pace, and then you can do the last checkup and the self-test and the pace test. But let's look at page 46 and 47, and we're going to take a lot of what we've learned up to this point, put it all together into this one lesson. I'm actually doing problem number 2 on page 47. So if they give us this as being the sine, and this is the tangent, let's see what we can easily figure out. First of all, remember, cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So that should be negative 3 over 2. Okay, so that's not too bad. And then, which one is the reciprocal of the sine? That would be the cosecant, right? So let's try to find the cosecant, and that's going to be 13 over 2 square root of 13. But then we're going to multiply top and bottom by square root of 13 to get that to pop out. So we end up with 13 square root of 13 over 2 times 13. So the 13's cancel. So we should just have square root of 13 over 2 for the cosecant. Okay, did you follow that? Now, how are we going to find, let's find the next one here. Cotangent is equal to the cosine over the sine. All right, so I don't know the cosine. That's what I'm trying to solve for at this point. So this is the unknown. But if I multiply both sides of the equation by the sine, then that will cancel out. Okay, so I'll have the cosine equals, and now I'm just going to multiply the sine times the cotangent, and I have both of those. So let's do that right here. 2 square root of 13 over 13 is the sine. The cotangent is negative 3 over 2, and we're going to multiply those together. Notice what happens. The 2 is going to cancel the 2. So I should get negative 3 square root of 13 over 13. And that is the cosine. Now, do you remember how to find the secant? The secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. So now I can just take 13 over negative 3 square root of 13, multiply top and bottom by square root of 13. Negative 13 square root of 13 over negative 3 times 13. I don't need this negative down here because this negative I brought up here. Okay, so the 13 cancels the 13. So it looks like negative square root of 13 over 3. Is the secant. All right, then the last thing we have to figure out is which quadrant is that in? Well, which are the only ones that are positive? It looks like cosecant, sine and cosecant are positive. So let's look back at our chart. What page was that on? 42. Sine and cosecant. Do you see that on the top of page 42? It looks like it is in the second quadrant. Okay, everything else is negative. Those are the only two that are positive. So we'll do a Roman numeral 2 for that one. That's basically all you're going to do for the rest of the problems there on page 47, and then I will encourage you, well, and then you turn the page and you do the same for page 48. In the score key, they do have the chart filled in, okay, so it makes it easy to quickly grade your work, but then down below they show the steps of how, kind of like we just did here on the board, of how they got each of those intermediate answers. So if you get stuck, use the score key as a, teacher's aid to kind of help you. Make sure you study it. Don't just copy the answer. Study it and see how did they get that answer, and what steps did they go through. How can I do this on my own now? Okay, and then go back and do it on your own. But basically, you are at the end. You're going to have a little review, and then a checkup, self-test, and pace test. This is the end of my Thanksgiving break. Today is Saturday. And so hopefully we'll get this uploaded shortly. And I don't know when I'm going to find time to work on the next pace, but we'll try to keep the momentum going. All right.